There's a spectrum of involvement in the gender equity movement. On one end of the spectrum is you don't even know it's happening. And right after that is you know it's happening, you don't know much about it. But then all the way over here is doing something about it. What was something that happened to you that inspired you to move on the spectrum?
I can go. I think that the moment it happened for me was in 2015. I played for the U23 Open team. And having the opportunity to watch the women's and mixed teams and a lot of international women's and mixed team, this was like the first time I was like closely involved with women in ultimate, talking with the players off the field and like seeing them practice and seeing the teams develop. And like that experience for me was really eye-opening because I just started to appreciate the games more. And then everything else just kind of, I felt like flowed after that.
I think the moment for me where I went from like a passive person who like believed in gender equity to being somebody who wanted to be active was actually last season with the sockeye like team talk about it. It was the first time I'd ever had a men's team like sit down and decide how we wanted to approach the team's views on gender equity and how we could, you know, change our language and practice and all that sort of stuff. Just being in that environment of, you know, male ultimate players talking about gender equity made me want to talk about it more than just with my friends who sort of believe the same thing as me. And definitely made me want to create more opportunities for myself to take action, as well as to just educate myself more on the topic.
I guess for me, it's a little easier. I have a twin sister who also plays, so it came a little easier when, you know, we're putting in the same amount of time and I'm getting more opportunities to do things. And it kind of, you know, is right in the limelight of like, wow, this is like, there's a distinction here. And it's not based on effort or talent or other stuff. It's based on opportunity.
For me, the moment where I chose to become more active was through like playing on a series of teams that made a really big point of having gender equity conversations on like even at like a party tournament setting in a co-ed situation, and like really hearing stories from female athletes in our sport who are not having anywhere near the same experience that men are in our sport, and knowing that as a male with privilege, there's something to be done about it.
One important moment for me was last year when I got asked to commentate the All-Star Tour with Caitlin Cordell, and we were just sort of like shooting the breeze about like how cool it was that we got to do this thing, and we were talking about stuff, and she was like, you know what I'm looking for is I'm looking for like men to step up, because like women are doing all this stuff. Where is the group of men that are leading the charge of this thing? And she just said that to my face, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I probably should be one of those people. Got a subtle way of calling me out. I don't even know if she knew she was calling me out, but I mean, it was exactly what y'all are talking about. It was individual conversation with a woman and talking about our experiences and talking about gender equity.
Yeah, I think it kind of just comes down to listening and empathy, and like honestly, like separating like your experiences and how like just because you've never felt a certain way doesn't mean someone else has it. I think just the advice I would give would be just to engage and listen to other people and how they're feeling about it.